There have been many Transformers stories about the Autobots and Decepticons coming to Earth in the ancient past and influencing our planet's history and culture. And in this episode, we're looking at the leading Autobot from one of the first. These are the basics on Earth's secret defender, METALHAWK. The original METALHAWK toy was released in 1988. Created exclusively for the Japanese market, the figure was one of the Pretenders, Transformers who could disguise themselves as organic beings, the robot figure hiding inside a shell that looked like an armoured human. Outside its shell, the toy transformed into a Cybertronian jet, and was named for the fact it was partially constructed from die-cast metal, which had been dropped from regular use in Transformers toys a few years earlier. METALHAWK was a major character in the Japanese original animated series, Super God Master Force. He was the noble and dedicated leader of a team of Autobot pretenders who crashed on Earth during the Stone Age, after pursuing a group of Decepticon pretenders to the planet. American media interpreted the Pretender toy gimmick literally, depicting the Transformers as actually concealing themselves inside giant biomechanical shells. But Master Force took a different approach to the concept. Here, the Pretenders actually had the power to shrink themselves down and convert their metal bodies into organic forms. Using this ability, METALHAWK and his comrades disguised themselves as human beings and integrated into early human society, helping to guide the evolution of mankind while protecting them against the Decepticons. The Pretenders lived human lives on Earth for thousands of years. In the present day, METALHAWK, using the simple human alias Hawk, worked at an astronomy research centre run by his human friend, Professor Go, to whom he disclosed his true identity as a Transformer. But when the Decepticon Pretenders resurfaced, he once more shed his human disguise to lead the Autobots in defending the Earth. This renewed conflict saw the Autobot ranks expand to include the Headmasters and Godmasters, human beings who combined with robot bodies to become Transformers themselves. And about halfway through the series, METALHAWK chose to step down as Autobot leader, handing over command to one of these new warriors, the Godmaster, Jinrai, at last able to place the defense of Earth in the hands of one of its own people. METALHAWK also featured in the Master Force manga and other assorted Japanese tie-in media and merchandise, but his toy was never released in Hasbro markets, and it would be over 2 decades before the character would make it to the West. Transformers animated art director Derek J. Wyatt had wanted to include METALHAWK in that series, but this didn't come to pass before its cancellation in 2009. Instead, METALHAWK made his English-language media debut in 2010, when he appeared in the Wings Universe series of stories from the Transformers Collectors Club. These adventures, set in the earliest days of the war on Cybertron 9 million years ago, depicted METALHAWK as the leader of a unit in the Autobot Elite Guard, who was killed by turncoat ex-guardsmen, the Combaticons. METALHAWK achieved wider fame when he appeared as a main cast member in the 2012 IDW Publishing comic book, Robots in Disguise. In this series, he was one of many unaffiliated Transformers who had left Cybertron long ago to escape the war. When these neutral bots returned to the planet in the present day after the conflict had finally ended, METALHAWK became their representative and began working with Bumblebee and Starscream to try and establish a new post-war government on the planet. Considering the Autobots just as responsible as the Decepticons for perpetuating the war, he treated Bumblebee with a snide and passive-aggressive attitude, feeling that his methods only prolonged division and conflict between the factions. Conversely, he respected Starscream's genuine desire to make a united future for the planet, and the pair became friends. Unfortunately, it was a friendship that couldn't survive Starscream's lust for power. He murdered METALHAWK and pinned the crime on rioting Decepticon dissidents, allowing him to blame Bumblebee for failing to keep the peace on the planet, and thereby convince the populace to choose him as Cybertron's new ruler. METALHAWK was briefly resurrected through the power of a restorative ore created by Shockwave, and was used as a pawn in the Decepticon scientists' plan to dominate Cybertron, but he managed to regain his right mind and chose to sacrifice his life once more to foil Shockwave's scheme. Coincidentally, at the same time he was enjoying his biggest role since Masterforce in IDW's comics, a new toy of METALHAWK was released exclusively through official convention BotCon in 2012. A retool of Transformers Generations Thunderwing, this figure converted directly from METALHAWK's Pretender form to a jet. The toy earned METALHAWK a role in the convention's exclusive comic book, which was set in the world of the original Marvel Transformers comic series, as one of a group of heroes fighting off an incursion of evil Autobots from a mirror universe. As a piece of American media, this story featured a version of METALHAWK who wore a Pretender shell, but further stories released through the Collectors Club in 2016 would change this. In these adventures, METALHAWK and the Pretenders travelled to the Earth of another dimension, where, in homage to Masterforce, they adopted a combination of shrinking and hologram technology to assume realistic human forms and integrate into the planet's society to act as its protectors, defending it against the Decepticon combiner, Thunder Mayhem. Thanks to all these stories, along with subtitled DVD releases of the Masterforce cartoon, making the character better known to Western audiences, more new METALHAWK toys were soon to follow. The first was released in the Titans Return line in 2017, available as part of the Siege on Cybertron box set. A recolor of the Decepticon Trigger Happy, it transformed into a starfighter, and like most figures in the line, its head could disconnect and transform into a tiny Titan Master robot, who was named Professor Go, in homage to METALHAWK's human friend from Masterforce. The original toy's Pretender gimmick was reimagined for 2018's Power of the Primes. This series reinvented METALHAWK as a Prime Master, a small robot containing the power of Vector Prime, one of the legendary original 13 primes, which he could grant to other bots by transforming into Spark mode and plugging into larger figures. To shield his power from detection, the Prime Master hid himself within an armoured shell, which could also convert into a blaster that bigger bots could wield. The newest METALHAWK figure was released in the Transformers Legacy line in 2023, a heavy retool of the Decepticon Cyclonus from the 2021 Kingdom series. Based on the original toy's inner robot, it's the most accurate-looking METALHAWK toy yet released in the 21st century, and cements the character's legacy as another bot from the Japanese side of the Transformers universe who slowly but surely worked his way to international fame. And those are the basics on METALHAWK. Where did you first encounter this protector from the past? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe for more Transformers history and lore from around the world, and be sure to come back next week for the first in a series of new Rise of the Beasts themed episodes.